We see a media diversity crisis with serious economic, social, and political implications. 40% of the population have no ownership in an industry that represents 20% of the economy. Media bias and stereotyping is fanning the fire of hatred and division. Dying local news outlets are crippling civic engagement. And worst of all, not seeing positive stories about their community is stifling the dreams and aspirations of Black and brown children across this nation.
We hosted the inaugural Multicultural Media Correspondents' Dinner to ignite a call to action to move the needle on media diversity.
We don't just tell colored stories. We tell stories in color.
During the dinner, we honored multicultural media luminaries who all shared their struggles and highlighted the need for increased media diversity.
It takes money, it takes capital. It has to be multicultural. It has to be people coming together.
There's no way to create that cultural change without the authentic voices.
Stories of multicultural people have tremendous value.
In order to harness and sustain the energy and power of the MMCD, we formed the Multicultural Media Correspondents Association, and it quickly became a powerful platform. MMCA serves as a trusted bridge and convener, enabling difficult, solutions-focused conversations in a common ground environment. It serves as a vehicle to provide thought leadership. It effectively influences and communicates policy developments.
You have to just go at it as if you have the same rights that everyone else has to do what you need to do to fulfill your dream.
And it provides information and resources for both individuals and stakeholder organizations. Most notably, MMCA has worked with Representative Demings to introduce resolutions that reaffirms Congress's support for media diversity. We ask that journalists and media professionals join our community and become diversity champions, and that media companies and stakeholder groups become strategic partners by providing funding and support. Together, we can move the needle on media diversity. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural Multicultural Media Correspondents Association Sheroes in Media Virtual Awards and Fundraising Gala. Let's welcome from MSNBC news personalities and authors Alicia Menendez and Richard Louie.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Alicia.
Hi, Richard. I have to say, before we get started, congratulations on your new book. I am halfway through it. Enough About Me, The Unexpected Power of Selflessness. I am loving it. Kudos to you.
Oh, Alicia, you being my very early mentor in book stuff. Thank you so much. You know how tough it is with your book as well. So it's great that we can be here for a very important topic that we both are alluding to, and especially your book when we talk about Sheroes in media.
Sheroes in Media. I love it. Yes, let's get started. Started. Welcome to the very first Multicultural Media Correspondents Association, or MMCA, inaugural Sheroes in Media Awards.
Yeah, and it is so great to be here because as we look at what's in front of us, wherever we're at, whether we're at home, if you're in the office at this hour, and we hope that you're not, but it might be the same thing. We're glad that you're joining us. If you're joining us with your phone, by hook or by crook, over the past year, we have seen women make history and rise to the occasion in an entirely different world than we've seen before in many different ways. But when women have been at the forefront, and there's so many elements, especially when it comes to our industry, right, Alicia? We have also seen mainstream media face its own racial and gender reckoning more and more as we've seen the diversity in local media where they have struggled as well.
Right. No, that's so true. And MMCA couldn't let this year go by without celebrating the power, the resiliency, and selflessness of the women leading media organizations in that fight for more diverse representation.
And that video was a really great summary of what MMCA has stood for from its very inception 5 years ago, as they work to increase diverse media ownership, along with specific ways that all of you can help. Plus, see a first ever in-depth roundtable discussion with our honorees. That's at the end of this. I can't wait for that, Alicia. You don't want to miss that.
Yeah, I'm just curious if my kids are going to make an appearance, so we will see how that goes. Cool. Now, everyone will have the opportunity to text MMCA to 21000. That's MMCA to 21000 to support tonight's causes.
And before we start, or as we start, we of course like to thank all those who made this possible, including the organizers, the sponsors. Of course, none of this could be possible to honor the Sheroes in media. My friend Hannah Kim, MMCA founding advisory board member and former chief of staff and communications director to Representative Charles Rangel. She's going to share a few words to highlight some of the amazing sponsors that have made this possible today. She's also one of the co-producers and a visionary of this Sheroes in Media event.
Hi, as a Korean American, I am so proud and grateful to my friends at the Neil Foundation for their generous sponsorship of tonight's event. I lived in the heart of Koreatown when the LA riots broke out and was traumatized as a young girl. That's when I became cognizant of racism and the importance of representation in the media to tell our stories. While I was devastated by the Atlanta shooting that killed 8 people, including 6 women of Korean and Chinese descent, I found so much hope and healing through the outpouring support from other communities and the reporting about the increasing anti-Asian hate crimes. It's a testament to the importance of having diverse voices in the media, telling our stories about Me Too, Black Lives Matter, and Stop Asian Hate. The women we're honoring tonight are Sheroes, who are leading organizations that amplify our voices. They embody the spirit promoted in Alicia and Richard's books. They don't fall into the likability trap and aren't afraid to fight for us. It's not about them, it's about others. And they are selfless in their service. So kudos to the MMCA for uplifting these women tonight. It takes a very confident and wise man to elevate and listen to women. I thank President David Morgan for sharing my vision for this event to honor these amazing Sheroes in media who are making sure that you and I, our stories and voices matter. Thank you.
Hannah, thank you for that incredible message. I want to go on to our first honoree. She has been a Shero from the start as recipient of the Women's Information Network's Young Woman of Achievement Award and the Wikimedia's Distinguished Service Award. Our honoree has been named a Rising Star by Campaigns and Elections magazine and one of Women's E-News 21 Leaders for the 21st Century. Julie Burton is president of the Women's Media Center, co-founded by Jane Fonda, Robin Morgan, and Gloria Steinem, to make women visible and powerful in the media. Julie is an activist, producer, and champion of women's rights and voices across all platforms, and we are honored to present the Sheroes in Media Award to Julia Burton.
Well, thank you so very much to the Multicultural Media and Correspondence Association. This award is incredibly meaningful, both to me and to the Women's Media Center. We at the Women's Media Center work every day to see more women, read more women, and hear more women in media. Every project we have has a lens of diversity, inclusion, and representation as part of it. 66% of the women we have trained in our WMC Progressive Women's Voices program are women of color. 75% of the women who have gone through our progressive training program have appeared on MSNBC, CNN, in the New York Times, in the Washington Post, and on NPR. Every week, our database of experts on all issues that we use to help journalists make sure experts cover all issues and women, and especially diverse women, are represented. Every week, our WMC She Source program promotes at least 50% women of color, if not more, often more. Our writers and our editors reflect the diverse tapestry of our country, and our reports, especially our annual U.S. Status of Women in Media and our Status of U.S. Women of Color in Media, really show and demonstrate how unequal women, and especially women of color, are on all platforms of media. I can't thank you enough for seeing our work, for valuing our voices, and for inspiring us to continue on in this fight, because we stand with you in all issues that can advance more voices of women and people of color in the media. So I am delighted to accept this very beautiful award on behalf of everyone, all the great women at the Women's Media Center, because they all deserve it. Thank you.
Richard, you are muted, and I've been sent to tell you in this brave new world that you are muted.
You know, it's very interesting because more in one way, I guess, huh? Yeah, well, I was about to say how beautiful that statue was overall. It looks like it weighs 10 pounds.
It's a solid statue.
It's a solid statue. Absolutely, Alicia. All right. Well, congratulations again is what I was trying to say with all the energy I had, despite me being on mute, and Alicia was there to save the day. I got a question for you as we move on to our next segment. Have you ever wanted to talk with the most influential woman in radio? All right. Radio Inc. magazine has named our second honoree, Heather Cohen, this title every year since 2014. She's an inductee into the WRHU Radio Hall of Fame. Heather, who's the executive vice president of the WISE agency, is the chair of the Alliance for Women in Media and Foundation. The foundation was formed in 1951, originally as American Women in Radio and Television, the women's division of the National Association of Broadcasters, and it hosts the annual Gracie's Award Gala to celebrate and honor programming created for women, by women, and about women. Heather judged the Tony Awards for 8 seasons and is currently a juror for the Academy of Radio Arts and Sciences. On behalf of the entire team at MMCA and all those who are thinking of her tonight, we are happy to present the Sheroes and Media Award to Heather Cohen. Heather.
Thank you so much, Richard. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. I love it. Thank you, thank you. And I just must say, I'm one of the women on that MIW list. There are many other incredible women. Well, thank you to Hannah Kim and Shonda and the wonderful team at MMCA for this recognition and for the important work that you do every single day. What a true honor to be recognized alongside these incredible women. It is a privilege to serve as the chair of the Alliance for Women in Media Board of Directors. This award celebrates women leading media organizations fighting for diversity in media, and AWM does exactly that. AWM at 70 years focuses on women working in media to strengthen our voices on issues that impact our lives. AWM's mission is to increase inclusivity, which drives our every decision. Our largest fundraiser, the Gracie Allen Awards, provides scholarships and opportunities to talented young women to develop skills for success while breaking down even more barriers. I want to thank the previous chair of AWM, Keisha Sutton-James, and the amazing Becky Brooks, our president, and her team. Thank you so much to my incredible boss, Eric Weiss, and the rest of the Weiss Agency family. I have deep gratitude for the Sheroes in my life. There are too many to name, but you know who you are and how much you mean to me. And I must thank my radio moms, Eloise Maroney, Joan Hamburg, and Deborah Parenti. Thank you to my sweet husband, my wonderful parents, family, and friends for their love and support. A special happy birthday to my little Shero, Rivital Eliana, who just turned 4 this week. Mommy loves you and Kobe. Thank you again, MMCA, and thank you all.
Alicia, we need that, don't we?
I love hearing it.
The that's just fantastic. I'll tell you what, I'll go to the control room on the weekends during your show from 6 to 8 p.m. I know you've been working all morning this week on top of that.
So appreciate that. Yes, that's just the boost I need.
I'll just do that live into the microphone. You don't need the boost. You've got lots of fans. But yes, congratulations, Heather, for all of that. It's really great to hear from you. Well, as you know so well, been in the industry for many years, Alicia, is that producing a gala like this is not easy. It's been very impressive in terms of what MMCA has been able to do recently in addition to this gala. Equally impressive is the work they are doing to provide financial and technical assistance to diverse and local publishers. That includes the BIPOC and Women Media Business Incubator pilot that they recently launched with the help of Innovation Media Consulting Group. Again, that's when they're resting. This bold new business incubator pilot holds the promise of unearthing and testing replicable and scalable solutions to the business model problems facing diverse and local media outlets that can no longer necessarily rely on the ad model that we have certainly been challenged by to sustain their operations. So here's a word on behalf of Alicia and myself. Please do listen to a word from the first pilot participants, Elevate Dayton.
Our mission is to elevate Dayton's unheard voices. We are a media group that aims to amplify, inspire, and innovate, empowering and encouraging those in the community to share their untold stories. Bringing to the light the success stories from your neighborhoods that will uplift others. Elevate Dayton's goal is to provide a hub of community-based information and journalism to develop solutions for Dayton's underrepresented communities. Through our partnership with the MMCA and their BIPOC Media Incubator, it is our mission to be the change that will amplify, inspire, and innovate multicultural media organizations, elevating BIPOC community voices nationwide.
I love that. Thank you, Elevate Dayton. I cannot wait to hear more about your impressive journey. Well, our third honoree is a citizen of the Sandy Bay Ojibwe First Nation and the executive producer of APTN News, an award-winning television program headquartered in Winnipeg on the world's first national Indigenous broadcaster. Francine Compton is the president of the Native American Journalists Association, a fighter against racism and stereotypes of Indigenous people. Francine has one very simple suggestion for newsrooms looking to prove their Indigenous coverage: hire an Indigenous journalist. I love it. Francine Compton is truly a Shero in media.
Thank you very much for that introduction. And thank you to the MMCA for honoring me. To be called a Shero means a lot. I've spoken often about my father, and he's my hero. My father was the first visibly Native journalist on television in Canada, and he went on television with his 2 braids at a mainstream network. And I recently learned that back then that network had a discussion about him cutting his braids. So this topic is very near and dear to my heart. My father's my hero. My mother's my Shero. My father's the founder of that network that you heard in the introduction. He is a founder of APTN, the world's first national Indigenous broadcaster. I spent 21 years there. I am now with CBC Indigenous. I'm the assignment producer there. I'm in a mainstream newsroom, and I am going to make changes in my second half of my career here. I'm calling this my Act Two, and I've had many role models in my career. I want to thank my mentor who helped me get to the level of being comfortable talking in front of a camera, being comfortable talking about myself and my career, my people, my passions. My mentor, who was the news director at APTN, Karen Pugliese, thank you for being there for me and for being one of my Sheroes. There have been many Indigenous women in that newsroom who I would call Sheroes as well. For me, it's an honor to be called this. It's an honor to be here among the women tonight. When I saw the presidents of all the diversity organizations, I said to myself that we need to form an alliance, and I think we should do that. I want to be a Shero for my niece, and I want to be a Shero for all of the young Indigenous women who want to be journalists, who want to hold politicians to account and ask questions on behalf of their communities who have not had a voice in hundreds of years in the United States and Canada. And I'm very, very proud to represent the Native American Journalists Association, who have been representing Indigenous journalists in North America for almost 40 years. We now have over 700 members, and we are expanding and growing, and it's a wonderful time to be alive in journalism. Thank you very, very much, MMCA. Kichimigwech.
Oh, Francine, thank you so much for your message. It is so important and so well felt. We cannot appreciate all that you've done for the organization, for journalism, as well as tonight. So congratulations on your award from MMCA. Well, you know, hearing these awe-inspiring words from these women has us feeling extremely happy to share an industry with them, side by side, shoulder by shoulder. And if you're feeling, for those of you with us tonight, the very same way, wherever you are at, we want you to stay that way, because coming up next is comedian Gina Brillon. You may have seen her on Jimmy Kimmel Live or Late Night with Seth Meyers. Her newest special, Gina Brillon, The Floor is Lava, is now available on Amazon Prime Video. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that we get to welcome the hilarious, gut-holding, Bronx-born stand-up comedian and actress, Gina Brillon. Gina, good to see you.
Good to be here. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate that. And thank you to Alicia. I was really excited to actually get all my girlfriends to read her book. The Likability Trap is amazing. And Richard, congratulations on your book. I was excited to be notified that I'll receive a signed copy, and any viewers who donate more than $100 will also receive a signed copy of either of your books as a special gift. And who doesn't like walking away with swag? Yes. David and MMCA, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of your inaugural Sheroes in Media Awards. I'm fully on board with MMCA's effort to secure the power that comes from owning content and distribution and controlling how our stories are told. I think it's past time that we all get serious and stop overlooking the critical need for diverse and local media to help people better understand the complex world in which we live. Stories told with a local lens and with cultural competency can help break down the walls of prejudice and ignorance and help regulate some of our undemocratic tendencies. I love that we're not just honoring the power, resiliency, and selflessness of these incredible women, but also highlighting the amazing work that they're spearheading at their organizations. Y'all are so badass. So thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. I am excited to be here. And I think it's time that we get into some comedy. So a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in the South Bronx in New York City. I love telling people that I'm from New York. Some people have a different reaction to when I tell them. People believe ridiculous things about New York, and some of it I could get it just from movies, you know, but it's just a little ridiculous. Like one time I was working in Utah and this woman came up to me after a show and said, "Oh, you live in New York City. It must be so beautiful in the winter when it snows." And I was like, I'm sorry, no. Have you seen New York in the winter? It's actually quite gross. Yeah. I mean, that's why we can't even enjoy little snow globes of New York City in the winter, because we know that's not how it actually looks. There's no happy snow in there. It's all gray and gross and disgusting. And you look in the snow globe and you're like, is that a homeless guy in my New York City snow globe? That's how it works. I'm also married. I am only about three years into my marriage. I don't know. I forget. How many years is it? Do you have to count? I don't know. What's 3 years? Is 3 years therapy? Is that what you get, a 3-year married couple? And we're doing good. I married a good guy. Definitely got myself a winner. I got me a 1978 Caucasian. Yeah, it's a good year, good model. My husband is white. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. He's not just white. He is Midwest white, which is organic. That is farm to table white, you guys. I went to the source to get my white man. I was not playing. I'm not white. I'm Puerto Rican, which is my husband's favorite thing. He loves to bring it up in conversation when it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'll just be like, hey guys, my wife's Puerto Rican. Enjoy your meal. And I get it. I get it. You know, I'm the only Latin woman he's ever been with. So he's excited. I'm his first. He's not my first white guy. I've been with white guys before, mainly to gather information, bring it back to my people. Yeah. I love it when some people laugh at that and then some people just sit there like, I knew it. I knew that was their plans for world domination. We grew up very differently. Sometimes I think I have a thicker skin than him because I grew up in the Bronx in a Latino family. And if you grew up in a Latino family or anything like it, you will know what I'm talking about when I say this. When they tease you, they go for the jugular. Like, they are brutal to the point where whatever your nickname is going to be your biggest insecurity. Yeah. So if you're chubby, they call you gordito. That means fat little kid. Yeah. It's not a nickname. That's a whole sentence. That's a mean sentence. I was a chubby kid. They used to call me chuleta. Yeah. That means pork chop. I would have been insulted, but every time they said it, I was like, that sounds delicious. You just call me a snack. Because pork chops are snacks to my people. They're like little protein bars. I was really glad that I didn't have to go through all of that kind of teasing, you know, growing up by myself. There were 5 of us all together. I'm closest with my younger sister. Well, I say younger, but we're twins. We're identical twins. I don't talk a lot about being twin because people say the dumbest things. Whenever I say I'm a twin, like without fail, whenever I say I'm an identical twin, someone will go, "Do you guys look alike?" Well, nothing gets past you, huh? Their follow-up questions are not any better. It's like, if I hit her, will you feel it? No, we're not X-Men. We're regular people. And we're very different personality-wise. That usually happens, especially with identical twins, if you meet them. You know, I'm silly and playful. My sister's dark and sarcastic, right? And she has low self-esteem, which is weird because she has my face. Do you know what it's like when someone that looks exactly like you calls you up and goes, I feel so ugly? That's our face that you're talking about. Luckily, I'm not a super sensitive person. I actually hope that after this whole pandemic situation, we come out of it way less sensitive than we went in. As a creator, as an entertainer, it was really hard because everybody was just getting just in so much trouble for whatever they said. It didn't matter what they said. It didn't matter. You know, I could do a knock-knock joke on stage and someone would be like, I never had a door. Why would you bring that up? That said, I have had an amazing time with you guys, and I want to thank you for letting me do my thing. I hope I brought you some smiles. And once again, thank you so much for doing this incredible, incredible event. I do have one more story that I want to share with you, just to sort of show my experience in terms of not having enough diversity. I remember years ago, I went on this audition, and I was called by this big manager in New York, and I was really excited. And they said, I have this perfect audition for you. I'll send you the stuff. And I was so excited. And they sent me this thing. I'll never forget the name of the show was Saving the Garcias. And it was a story of a young Latin woman from the Bronx. So I was like, perfect. She's a single mother who loses all her money, gets evicted, goes to try to find her baby daddy's family and she finds his rich family and they offer her money, but she won't take it. She decides she'd rather be their maid. And I remember looking at the script and thinking, I don't think I can do this. But like any person who's new to entertainment, I was like, I think I have to go and do this. So I went to the audition, and halfway through the audition, the woman running the audition said to me, you know, you're doing a great job, but you're making her sound too smart. She is, after all, just a Latin girl from the Bronx. And in that moment, I looked at her and I said, I can't do this. And I walked out. And I knew two things in that moment. I knew what I didn't want to do with my career. And I knew that I would never let anybody make me feel ashamed of who I was or where I was from. That story has stuck with me for years and has made me want to have a bigger impact in media. And I'm very thankful for those of you who are being so impactful and changing the game, from somebody who's on the talent side and the creator side. Thank you so much for letting our stories be told the way they need to be told.
Pivotal moments in history often spark words that inspire change. And I think that this moment that we're in right here, Word in Black, is really a call to action. The Word in Black collaborative, really was sparked out of the movement and the moment.
It is a coming together of Black newspapers.
This idea came about where it said, well, why don't we have these 10 leading publishers come together so that we can elevate some of these issues to the forefront of attention?
I believe that our publications have a unique responsibility and are positioned uniquely to share with the world what all of this means.
We are working to not only tell the stories, but to help people find ways to make a difference in their own lives.
I believe that there's a new awareness about the Black press and how we bring a unique message.
You're muted again. Richard Louis, come on. You better now? This is why we're not in charge of our own tech normally, because they know we can't be trusted.
I do not know what's happening tonight. I'm usually the unmuted guy, and here I am like super mute, it's just sort of like.
I love Gina Brillon. I interviewed her on my podcast, Latina to Latina, and I love how she can have you in stitches 1 minute and then just be so smart and savvy and serious. She's the real deal. And if you want to support live comedy and the fantastic Gina Brillon, you can follow her on social media. She is at G Brillon. So you can see her live when she's venturing back into comedy clubs near you. Now, we are all here, as she said, to support diversity in media. And for MMCA, that looks like supporting local news sources like your hometown news or Black, Indigenous, and people of color owned outlets.
Yeah, and tonight, as we honor and celebrate these great Sheroes, we know that it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of support to get them to where they are. It's certainly a village, and it includes all of us that are here and what we represent and what we believe and what we do together in lockstep and arm in arm. And so without your financial donations, the demise of Black, Indigenous, and people of color in local media, the difficulty that they are going through will have some serious implications as we look at the industry and therefore our society.
Yeah, look at that banner beneath us. It's doing all of the work for me.
There you go.
So there you go. That is how you can help and save diverse and local media outlets. Text MMCA, it's right there to 21000 to support now.
All right. Well, I'm not even muted and I'm not talking, Alicia. How about that one?
It's because we had to scroll.
I'm just real
We also don't know how to operate our own prompter.
This is absolutely a little bit too much vulnerability for me right now in terms of the way I am. Thank you to everyone who donated this evening, by the way, and signed the petition, MMCA's petition. we certainly do appreciate it because this is, as I was mentioning, a group effort. Now, the next honoree is no stranger to helping others. A good friend of mine. She has done so much for the organization that I've been a member at for 15 years as the president of the Asian American Journalists Association. Michelle Lee led the association's efforts to combat the growing anti-Asian sentiment that we've seen over this last year in its spike as a phenomenon. She developed a journalistic guidance on how to report on the Atlanta shootings. She recently just returned from reporting from there for the Washington Post in Atlanta. A finalist for the 2014 Pulitzer Prize, Michelle will be the Tokyo bureau chief for the Post, covering the Koreas and Japan starting this fall. And as a personal friend and fan, I am very honored, very happy to present the Sheroes in Media Award to my good friend, Michelle Lee. Michelle.
Thanks, Richard. It's so special to be here with Richard Louie, who was one of the first professional journalists I met when I joined AAJA as a college freshman who was 18 years old. Thanks, Richard, for being one of my most enthusiastic cheerleaders. He literally wrote a book on selflessness, so he's not going to talk about this, but he's been a long time supporter of gender equality and women in leadership, so I want to thank you for that. Thank you to the MMCA for dedicating this space for women leaders who are doing the often invisible work of pushing our industry to become more diverse, in many cases against the very strong inertia of newsrooms who refuse to listen. The past year has been really hard for Asian Americans and for Asian American journalists. AAJA's journalists have been at the forefront of covering the rise in anti-Asian violence across this country, despite being subject to racism themselves. They've been pushing their newsrooms to care about our AAPI community and to cover our community thoughtfully and comprehensively. And this month during the Atlanta shootings, when we saw newsrooms rushing to declare that the murders were not racially motivated because a suspect said so, we at AAJA, led by Asian women, spoke out clearly and forcefully to hold newsrooms accountable. Because we know as Asian women that racism goes hand in hand with the long history of sexualization of Asian women. The Asian American Journalists Association was founded in 1981. It's our 40th anniversary this year. We have more than 1,800 members throughout the US and in Asia. We've accomplished so much, but AAPIs are still underrepresented in the media industry, especially in leadership positions. And we're committed to making sure we're no longer invisible in journalism, especially in positions of power and influence. I want to thank the Washington Post and my editors, especially National Editor Steven Ginsberg, for your longstanding support of my work with AAJA. My AAJA work is only possible with a huge team of leaders, and the majority of them are women. So I want to share this award with the other female AAJA leaders who don't have the title of president like I do, but deserve this honor just as much, especially the all-female national executive team, Nicole Dunca, Naomi Takuyan Underwood, Julia B. Chan, Shirley Chu, Chris Fair-Phillips, and Jin Ding. You're my Sheroes and my indispensable teammates. Thank you again to MMCA for this beautiful award. I'm very humbled and I'm grateful.
Local news is critical to our communities. News weaves the threads of stories on local government, sports, education, arts, and more, which creates the tapestry so that a community knows itself. Years ago, as a journalism graduate, and later as the lawyer for MSN News, I learned that high-quality, trusted journalism is vital. A free, independent press with diverse voices heard is critical to the health of democracy. When technology undermines the health of the free press, as it has, then we must take steps to restore the healthy journalism needed for our democracy. At Microsoft, we are partnering with community foundations to help smaller, independent, and diverse news organizations strengthen journalism. On behalf of Microsoft, congratulations to the honorees. Thank you for your commitment to diversity and excellence.
I love it. All right, now please welcome the president and co-founder of the Multicultural Media Correspondents Association, Mr. David Morgan.
David! All right. Thank you so much, Alicia. And also to you, Richard. You guys both just personify diverse media excellence. It's great to be here with you. Again, my name is David Morgan, and I am the MMCA co-founder and president. I am proud to represent a growing army of media stakeholders and our allies working to get more content, more ownership, more impact, and more control over our stories and of where, when, and how it's told. I first want to thank the wonderful people that have helped me make today possible. My amazing production team, the MMCA trustees and advisors, our strategic partners and congressional champions, and last but certainly not least, I want to thank our sponsors, the Nail Foundation, Bloomberg Government, Microsoft, and the News Media Alliance. Thank you all for being the wind beneath MMCA's wings. Tonight is all about highlighting powerful and devoted women in media who are leading organizations that MMCA love working with that are all at the tip of the spear in the fight for media diversity. I should also note that the award that they're receiving is being bestowed in the name of the great Ida B. Wells. Miss Wells was a fearless journalist who brought needed attention to the lynchings and other atrocities being perpetrated against Black people post-construction. Among other things, she was the first, if not one of the first people to combine journalism with social justice activism. Her pioneering work is just as relevant today and speaks directly to the struggles still being faced by BIPOC communities and women. Tonight, in addition to honoring these 7 Sheroes, we want to ask that you join our growing effort to increase diverse media ownership and control. Specifically, we're asking for your help in advancing 3 bold and strategic initiatives that we're currently undertaking. The first initiative is the petition, and I hope we pull it up on the screen, to get Congress to pass tax legislation that would incentivize the public and the business community to support diverse and local media through donations and subscriptions and through advertising, respectively. You can help us hit our goal of 100,000 signatures by signing the petition on change.org that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. The second initiative is the Business Incubator Pilot that we recently launched with Elevate Dayton. Our ask is that you connect us with funders and strategic partners that might be interested in learning more and supporting this groundbreaking effort. The third initiative is our Media Diversity Solution Series, which is designed to unearth consensus-based solutions to move the needle on diverse media ownership. Our ask is that more corporations and media stakeholders support and help us to continue to grow this platform. I also ask that you sign up for our newsletter and follow us on @MMCADC on all social platforms to stay apprised of our efforts. Thank you in advance for your support and enjoy the rest of the celebration. Back to you, Alicia and Richard.
I love it. Thank you, David, for those inspiring words. I want to turn now to our 5th honoree. She's the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, Nora Lopez. Nora was born in Mexico. She grew up in the Rio Grande Valley and is a naturalized citizen fighting for the representation of the Latinx community and immigrants in media. She's currently the Metro editor at the San Antonio Express News, and Nora believes that you tell better stories when your newsrooms reflect the community. I agree, because you'll be able to see stories that might otherwise not be seen. I'm proud to present the Shero in Media Award to Nora Lopez.
Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. What an honor it is to be recognized by the Multicultural Media and Correspondence Association. I salute you for the work you're doing. It's important and very necessary. It's truly humbling to be placed among this group of hardworking and talented women and to be considered a Shero. I love it. At NAHJ, we strive to advocate for Hispanic journalists and push for more equity in our newsrooms. It is imperative that we see more female journalists of color represented in this industry. We have unique voices and stories to tell that can surely help uplift our communities. Representation does matter, but it's far more than just visibility. It's showing that someone with your similar skin color, your background, culture, the same gender is out there telling and advocating for your story for the rest of the world to hear and understand. Having more Latina journalists in print and on air to produce, edit, and write the stories that matter, it breathes life into our communities and can make such a significant impact. It says to little girls out there that they too can make a difference. I would be remiss in not recognizing the Latina trailblazers who paved the way for leaders like myself, like Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Dolores Huerta, Gwen Eiffel, and Sandra Cisneros, just to name a few who have given voice to and uplifted Hispanic women everywhere. Without the hard work and dedication of Hispanic women like them, we wouldn't have made the strides we've made today. Thank you to the MMCA for your support and for this honor. Oh, it's heavy, which I will share with my personal Sheroes, the Latina editors I was lucky to work for and who inspired me. Sylvia Martinez, Jamie Stockwell, and Carolina Garcia. And to my right-hand Shero, Diana Fuentes, mil gracias.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage to uplift us with a song from her new album, Compass. Please welcome Washington, D.C.'s own indie soul sensation, Deborah Bond.
Thank you guys for having me today. Yeah, 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 da, 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 da. What in the world will tomorrow bring? Right now in this moment, I just wanna sing. 'Cause I don't know which way the world is turned. Just keep on walking through it, still willing to learn. It's a haze, don't know where the answers are. I'm the type to take it day to day. I know my faith will get me far. This road seems so long, at times I feel alone. I better lift my head and keep moving on. I wonder if there's a reason for this. Confuse and broken, send me a temporary fix. But being me, I'm willing to believe. I gotta find my way, strolling with the possibilities. And when I'm overwhelmed and I can't clear my head, I'll just take it all in stride. I may miss a step, but you ain't seen nothing yet. I'll just take it all in stride. Stride, oh, stride. Stride, 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 yeah. Now pushing towards what's in front of me. It's easy to be consumed with anxiety. 'Cause every day I'm lifting another load. Don't know how I'll do it, I just go with the flow. There is a light that lives inside of me. I won't take it for granted. Keeps this compass guiding me. Living free, I'm willing to believe. I gotta find my way, strolling with the possibilities. And when I'm overwhelmed, can't clear my head, I'll just take it on in stride. I may miss a step, but you ain't seen nothing yet. I'll just take it on in stride. I'll take it all in stride, all in stride. I'll take it all in stride, all in stride. You better listen what your mama said. Don't cry, just pray instead. Take it all in stride, 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 yeah. Take it all in stride, take it all in stride. 'Cause I may miss a step, but you ain't seen nothing yet. I'll just take it all in stride, stride. Take it all in stride. Take it all in stride. Take it all in stride. Stride, stride. Take it all in stride. Take it all in stride. Take it all in stride. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations to all of the awardees tonight. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ariel Elliott, President of Bloomberg Government. I'm honored to congratulate the winners of the first annual MMCA Women in Media Awards, 6 extraordinary women who promote diversity in media and who exemplify diverse media excellence. Bloomberg Government is a proud supporter of the Multicultural Media and Correspondence Association and its mission of fixing the media diversity program with thought leadership, strategy, and a platform for action. Diversity is incredibly important to Bloomberg Government, and as a news organization, diversity as it pertains to media is on the forefront of our minds. Congratulations to Michelle, Francine, Dorothy, Nora, Heather, and Lisa from all of us at Bloomberg Government. We are so proud to support the important work you're doing as leaders of organizations that amplify underrepresented voices in the media. Keep up the good work.
Well, here we are. We are now on our 6th honoree for the evening. We could probably, knowing David and his team, be here all night because there have been so many Sheroes throughout the last year. And I'm so glad that we are on this inaugural event so far tonight. And I'm sure all of you are enjoying the messages that we've heard so far. We cannot say enough. Now, in 2014, our 6th honoree of the night took what it was to be a short step away from news gathering and joined the world of public relations to help clients tell their story. Now, as 114th president of the National Press Club, Lisa Matthews made history to become the very first Black female at the helm of one of the most prestigious press clubs in the world, ushering an era of greater diversity at the club. And Lisa is a 20-year veteran of the Associated Press, currently serving as the assignment manager of U.S. Video. Now, during Lisa's long career in journalism, she has received no less than 2 Edward R. Murrow Awards and the AP's Oliver S. Gramling Spirit Award. We are all so honored tonight to present the Sheroes in Media Award to Lisa Matthews. Lisa, so great to see you.
Hi, Richard. Thank you so much. Thank you
bet.
so very, very much. It's awesome to be here. I want to thank the Multicultural Media Correspondents Association for honoring me with their inaugural Sheroes in Media Award. And yes, it is very heavy. You know, it's not every day you receive an award for doing what you would do anyway. So this really means a lot. Media diversity in all its forms has always been important to me. I especially enjoy helping young people discover what's next in their future, and some of those folks are in the audience tonight. The National Press Club was founded in 1908. I'm only the third person of color to be elected president of the National Press Club. I follow not only in the footsteps of every past president, but specifically I follow in the footsteps of 2004 President Sheila Cherry and 2017 President Jeff Ballou, and just 13 female club presidents before me. And our leadership team this year, from top to bottom, is all women. Jen Judson of Defense News is our vice president. Eileen O'Reilly of Axios is treasurer. Emily Wilkins of Bloomberg Government is our membership secretary. And Jillian Rich of Investors Business Daily is secretary. And I can't forget Kimberly Adams of Marketplace is chair of the club's board of governors. We've never at the press club, never in the history of the press club has there been all woman leadership. And I'm so excited to be at the helm of the club at this really important time. We're making progress. The National Press Club is also offering free one-year memberships to journalism graduates of historically Black colleges and universities. Another effort that's really, really important for us to diversify not only our business, but our club. When I was growing up, I wanted to be Dan Rather. And while I truly admired him, it would have been nice to have seen someone who looked like me in the anchor chair. I believe to make greater progress, the news media itself must continue to diversify. We need more training for minorities in management. We need more diversity in hiring so that the newsroom looks like the community we cover. We need deeper and more valuable conversations within the newsroom and with sources that what is shared becomes what is published. All minority journalists who have been fortunate enough to get a seat at the table owes it to the high school or college student that sees his or herself sitting where we sit now. I challenge each of us to be open to the student journalist who reaches out for help or just to say hello. We were all that student journalist at one point in our lives, and every day is a chance for us to give back. So again, I just like to thank everyone for this really, really heavy award. Thank you.
I love that reminder from Lisa to take good care of our student journalists. Well, do you know anyone with 9 local Emmys, 2 Chicago Association of Black Journalists Awards, who is also the recipient of the National UPI Spot News Award? Our final honoree has all of that and much more under her belt. Dorothy Tucker is the current president of the National Association of Black Journalists. As a tireless advocate for current and future Black journalists, Dorothy's favorite quote is, "God takes care of babies, fools, and persistent reporters." I am honored to present this Shero in Media Award to Dorothy Tucker.
Thank you. First of all, I am humbled by this recognition. It is particularly flattering to be a part of the inaugural class of the Sheroes and Media Awards. I want to thank members of the Multimedia Correspondents Association who thought enough of me to add me to the list along with the other distinguished women who have won awards tonight. I am the first journalist in my family. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs, and I think I chose this career because of the stories of injustice I heard from my ancestors. My great-great-grandfather, George Washington Ingle, owned a lumber yard in Mississippi back in the early 1920s. My father proudly tells the story of how his grandfather had whites and blacks working for him at the yard, and it was a very successful business. That inspired my dad to own his own business. I too have a pride for what my great-great-grandfather accomplished, but I am angry because of the story my grandmother told me. The night that their home was set on fire, and the perpetrators were never caught. They lost everything, and fearful for their lives, they fled Mississippi. My grandmother always believed that it was one of the white neighbors who was jealous of her father's success. I used to ask my grandmother time and time again, did the story get out? Was it ever reported? And of course, the answer was no. If investigative reporter Ida B. Wells had known about my grandmother's story, I am convinced she would have written about it. As you heard earlier, Wells risked her life to tell the stories of lynchings in the South. She was that combination of journalist and social justice activist that I admire. Wells would be proud of the Black female journalists that I see today: Nicole Hannah-Jones, Erin Wack, Yamiche Alcindor, Jamel Hill, Joy Reid, just to name a few. They're among those who fight to tell the truth about America and are not afraid to ask the tough questions. Ida B. Wells would be happy to know that we at the National Association of Black Journalists are grooming many more Black women to follow in her footsteps. Again, I want to thank you for this incredible recognition. I am going to proudly put it in the front living room so everybody can see it. And thank you again, and congratulations to all of the other awardees.
Those were incredibly powerful remarks. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, to continue to shine a light on our 7 Sheroes this evening, please welcome our special guests, Senator Jackie Rosen, Representative Chu, and a few other special treats. Take a listen.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Young Kim representing California's 39th District. I am honored to serve as one of the first Korean American Republican women and only one of 2 Asian Republican women serving in Congress. I wish we could all be together in person, but I'm excited to help you celebrate Women's History Month and honor all of the amazing Sheroes making a difference every day in our media industry. I want to congratulate all the women being recognized tonight. Women deserve a voice at the table, and you all are helping to tell the important and diverse stories that both reflect and inform the communities you serve. As women, it's all up to each of us as we break our own barriers to pave the way for future generations of women and girls. We must work to lift up future generations and empower them to speak up and get involved in their communities. I hope you all enjoy your evening, and I look forward to seeing your important work to promote media diversity. Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Senator Jackie Rosen, and I'm proud to represent the great state of Nevada in the United States Senate. I want to thank our co-hosts, Alicia Menendez and Richard Louie, congratulate all the Sheroes being recognized at tonight's event. Women who are breaking through barriers and fighting for increased diversity in media. Know that you have an ally in Congress and that will continue to work towards gender equality in all areas. Just this year, I reintroduced a bipartisan resolution calling for greater diversity at all levels of our media. When we have a diverse media workforce, we can tell the stories that are truly reflective of this nation. Thank you, and enjoy the celebration.
Hello, I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and it's my privilege to help congratulate this year's honorees at the inaugural Multicultural Media and Correspondence Association Sheroes in Media Awards. Each of tonight's winners, Julie Burton, Heather Cohen, Francine Compton, Michelle Lee, Nora Lopez, Lisa Matthews, and Dorothy Tucker, have demonstrated such resiliency and power as they have selflessly worked to ensure more diversity in media. Thanks to their work, more young people of color, and especially young girls of color, are able to see themselves and hear their stories in our media. And I know that makes a world of difference. Ensuring more diversity in media is even more important now as we battle the historic rise in anti-Asian hate crimes and bigotry. These attacks have been ongoing for over a year, but many of our stories would not have been covered had it not been for the work of incredible AAPI journalists, including Michelle Lee, the president of the Asian American Journalists Association, who is one of tonight's awardees. Each of tonight's trailblazing Sheroes have their own amazing stories. So congratulations again to all of our winners, and a special thank you to our hosts, Alicia Menendez and my good friend Richard Louie. And of course, my deepest appreciation to the Multicultural Media and Correspondence Association for your work to bring the public, business leaders, and policymakers together to be a strong voice for diverse and local media. Thank you and congratulations again.
All right. Wow. Thank you all to the members of Congress that supported this great event tonight. And don't worry, just don't go anywhere, because you probably got questions. We got questions. Alicia and I do. That's what we do for fun and for a living. And you're going to get to see all of our honorees tonight get some questions. We're really interested in what makes them tick, what got them to this amazing place that they're at. And this is not inconsistent with what MMCA has consistently done. It started with what was called the Broadcast Journalist Award Gala that they would have every year at their inaugural Multicultural Media Correspondence Dinner. I was very honored to be there that first time. It showed that they were thinking in big ways. And this year's MMCD will be held in November, by the way. But first, before we get to that one that's happening, let's look at some of the amazing work that MMCA has done in the past.
Media bias and stereotyping is fanning the fire of hatred and division. Dying local news outlets are crippling civic engagement. And worst of all, not seeing positive stories about their community is stifling the dreams and aspirations of Black and brown children across. 5 years ago, journalists, political leaders, and social media influencers gathered in Washington, D.C. at the National Press Club for the inaugural Multicultural Media Correspondence Dinner to bring awareness to the media diversity crisis.
Don't worry about crossover. Don't worry about anybody else but one Black person. If you can reach one, just one, you've reached the whole community.
As we celebrate virtually this year in the middle of a political maelstrom, our mission is more important than ever. MMCD serves as the vehicle to provide thought leadership and conduct advocacy campaigns and initiatives. We are beyond grateful to the amazing honorees, sponsors, allies, and congressional champions that have graced our stage and supported our efforts. Thanks to them, the future for the MMCD is bright. We invite journalists, creators, and media owners and professionals of color to join our community and become diversity champions, and that media companies and stakeholder groups become strategic partners by providing funding and support. Together, we can move the needle on media diversity.
Well, Lacey, as promised, here we go.
I know. I am so excited to chat with all of these women. Let's bring them all in. Julie Burton, Heather Cohn, Francine Compton, Michelle Lee, Nora Lopez, Lisa Matthews, Dorothy Tucker. We are tight on time, and there's way too much talent in this room. So we're going to try to make it a rapid response here. I'm just sort of curious. Julie, I'll start with you, and we'll go around. But if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about the media landscape right now, what would it be?
Add women, more women, women of color, lots more women.
Heather?
I think that I would like to see people asking more questions and finding out what they can do to enhance their specific companies. I don't think people are asking necessarily enough questions. Everybody's obviously very focused on COVID, but more has to be done. We desperately need more. So yes, add more women, but ask questions of people who are working hard for these exact issues.
Right, especially because things are going to have to re-level in the wake of this pandemic. Francine?
I have been talking recently about, it feels like we're in a bit of a crisis. It feels like we're in a bit of a state of emergency when it comes to Indigenous journalists. And there is a desire for it in newsrooms. There's a desire to hire, and diversity is something that most newsrooms are looking towards right now. However, because there has been a lack of support over so many years, we do not have, the staff. We don't have the workforce. So what needs to happen is that, a lot of the talk needs to stop and the investments need to start in educating Indigenous people to become journalists and supporting them through programs, through scholarships, through the ones that we do at NAJA, but also for so many programs that have yet to be developed. And they need to start at universities. They also need to start in mainstream newsrooms, and the support needs to be there, right? To somebody starting at a high school age, like I started at a high school age, and I don't have a lot of company, in my circle when it comes to Indigenous people, women in leadership positions in media. I am an executive producer level, and I don't have many people in that circle with me. And so there has to be many investments to train people from a young age, to recruit. Universities need to be recruiting in high schools. And I really love what I heard here tonight. I could relate to so many of the women that were speaking and what they were speaking about, and having that reflection. I was able to see myself reflected in my father, but also I saw a woman anchoring the newscast here in my local city. So I had that hope of, I could see myself doing that. And so I want to see more Indigenous people in all mainstream newsrooms across the US and Canada. And that's going to inspire young people to want to become journalists. We are storytellers culturally and historically, and we just need to be able to hone that craft and become the journalists that we're intended to be.
Especially Michelle, because that loneliness takes a toll.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see genuine efforts by newsrooms with real funding and a public commitment with public metrics to hold newsrooms accountable for their diversifying their newsrooms and their leadership. Too often, these crises where we're forced to confront systemic racism are seen as a short-term problem. You throw some money at it, you hire a race team, you do a diversity study, but then when the dust has settled, it falls back on us who are not in the leadership positions, who are the women, the people of color, the women of color, who are very underrepresented in leadership, who are then left to fend for ourselves once again. So what I would like to see is something I have not seen yet, which is an industry-wide public commitment with real accountability measures to show that they're truly willing to prioritize diversity, inclusion, and equity top down from the existing leadership, and then how they're going to diversify their leadership so that more of us can be in those positions.
Right, Nora, you don't want this only in focus during the community's moment of crisis.
No, absolutely not. And that's why if I could wave a wand and make things right, it would be to for our newsrooms to accurately reflect the communities. Because when that happens, that's when we are going to be telling the true stories of our communities, and bringing their stories to the forefront and really just enlightening one another. And I think to get there, we definitely need more women in power. We need women making those hiring decisions and helping to direct coverage. So, and world peace, of course.
Tossed in for good measure. Lisa, how about you?
I'm tired of being the first Black person or the the first Black woman or the first person of color. I'm tired of that. I want that to not be such a surprise. I think that exactly. I mean, we're here, right? And I have to say, I have to give a shout out, not just to the National Press Club and our membership for electing me and our team to lead the club at this really, really chaotic time. But I also have to give a shout out to my news organization, the AP, because we seriously took a step back after George Floyd happened, and we all ended up, working from home and doing the Zoom thing. And we recognized that this was a time for us to really, really dig in and have an honest conversation about race and diversity in our newsrooms and in our storytelling. So if I could wave a wand, it would be that all newsrooms look like tonight, okay? Look like tonight. And that we are authentic in our reporting and our coverage, and that we don't forget the young people, because those are the ones that really get us juiced up. I just have to mention that one of the young folks in the audience right now, she reached out to me on LinkedIn, a blind outreach. I had no idea who she was. I met her at the press club, took her out and helped her with a resume, and now she's working at an ABC affiliate. We have to do that more. We owe it to young people to be there for them, just to give them that time.
That may be the most productive LinkedIn outreach I have ever heard of. Everyone's going to ask her to cut and paste whatever it was, the message that she sent to you, so they can repurpose it.
Check out my LinkedIn. You'll see her message to me.
Perfect. Dorothy, from my section, I'm going to give you the last word.
All right. Ditto to all that was said here. And in addition to that, I would like to see the media organizations live up to their promo, the one that said Black Lives Matter, which means that I would like to see more Black journalists in top management positions. I would like to see them analyze, take a real good look at their hiring practices and figure out why is it that they don't have more Blacks and more people of color, more diversity in their newsrooms, and then change things so that we can see more people of color in the newsroom, more diversity. But at the same time, because if they get that, I would like to also see them improve the coverage of communities, of people of color. In my opinion, we just don't see enough of the Arab Americans. We don't see Asian Americans. We don't see Hispanics. We don't see Black. We don't see the kinds of stories that we should see. And I think if they did a better job in terms of diversity, in terms of hiring more journalists of color, I think we would see better coverage.
Alicia, I'm just wowed by this 3x3. And this is the best Brady bunch ever. We'll call them the MMCA bunch. How about that? I want to get and we remind everybody here, if you could keep your answers fast, that'd be great, because we have a lot of questions out there. We'd really like to understand, what is the secret sauce that got you to be Sheroes? What is it that got you to this point that you can pass on to other folks that are here tonight? Francine, 45 seconds.
I kept the blinders on and I kept my eyes on the prize. And when it came time to do the hard work, I just did the hard work, and I went back on my lessons. I held on to my culture every step of the way. And I relied on those who were role models before me. It was really simple.
Not easily done, though. Dorothy.
I think it's my willingness to embrace new, my desire to always learn more things and to be persistent, to just knock on one more door, to make one more phone call, and to just keep pressing and pressing.
Nora.
I never take no for an answer, and I never get discouraged. You need to be proactive. You can't wait for your boss to come to you with your dream job or assignment. You have to let them know what you want to do and where you want to be. And so if you're not getting traction, then take smaller bites from your goal. The next time your team leader is on vacation, ask to lead the team and showcase your skills. You've got to
Secrets,
advocate
yeah.
for yourself.
All right. Michelle, what's the secret sauce? How'd you get here?
I think similarly, pushing back on the cultural stereotypes of Asian women. We're taught to stay humble and not ever talk about ourselves and let our work speak for ourselves and like have other people give us the opportunities. But I embrace the things that I appreciate about what that means, the humility, but also to advocate for myself and my community in ways that you may not expect an Asian woman to talk about. And I think embracing what I love about my culture, but also pushing back in ways that it requires to be a journalist. That push and pull, I think, is what I've really valued.
I know Alicia and I agree that for your 4 organizations represented here right now, we wouldn't be where we're at. I am a proud lifetime member of all 4 organizations and support everything you do. Let's get to you, Lisa. Stay in the journalism lane we're all going to be in the journalism lane tonight. What's the thing that got you to where you're at?
My executive editor, Sally Busby, refers to me as being ferocious. I too, like many of the women in this discussion, I never take no for an answer. I'm pretty tenacious. Never take no for an answer. And when I'm getting nasty with somebody, I just keep a smile on my face. So do what you got to do.
Julie.
Well, for me, I'm the activist amongst the journalists here. For me, it has always been hope and planning and a lot of determination. And coming from Utah, a very conservative place, I really think equality of voice and opportunity has been a guiding light my entire life, because there was so much that I didn't feel women were given any shot at where I grew up. And I have found that it's just so crucial to believe that change is possible, to believe in the work that you do, to believe in the people you work with, and to never, ever give up. So.
Thank you. Heather.
I would have to agree. No is not in my vocabulary. Sometimes I wish it was, but it's not. And I think I was the teenage girl that took auto mechanics because I wanted to be the first girl in high school to take auto mechanics. If anyone needs brakes, call me. But I've been very blessed to surround. Richard. I've been blessed to surround myself with so many wonderful, kind, caring, smart people. And I always try to surround myself with people that are smarter than I am. But want to give back and have helped to bring me up. And because I've learned from these people, I try to spend a lot of time with students, young people, young women specifically, whenever possible, and pay it forward. I think it's super important. And one thing that really frightens me today is that nobody has time. Everyone is doing 18 different things. Every manager is now just multitasking like crazy. When I was younger, people had some more time to help me. We have to remember that even though we don't have time, these students and young people are literally our future.
You know, I've got to ask you this, Alicia. You wrote a book on this. As we look at the Sheroes in front of us and the trap that you describe in your book, I mean, what would be your piece of advice as well to get to these levels that they're at?
Well, now I have like all these women that I wish I would have included in my book, because you articulate all of the things that I've grappled with. You know, the thing that I wanted to change, Richard, is I think all the Lady in the Workplace books focus on what women can change about themselves in order to survive, but that's not how we're ever going to thrive. Organizations have to fundamentally restructure and change, and the investment has to come from the very top. It can't be about women changing ourselves anymore.
Amen. All right. Lots of snaps on that. Well, we got a lot done tonight. And what we got done is we got a great message out there that this stuff counts, all of these corners in front of us, and that we cannot invest more. We cannot bring more attention, more light, more spotlight on these corners that everybody in this 9 box has done. It's truly been, Alicia, an extraordinary night.
I know. I just wish there were like an after party to dance. The one thing I miss about these events.
You don't want to see me dance, but yeah, I mean, it's easier because we can just do stuff like this, right? And just turn sideways and do things like that. No? No, you
Just
didn't. She can't even function. I was just, okay, all right, great. Well, this has been quite an evening. We would definitely like to hand it over to our good buddy, David Morgan, right, Alicia, who has led us through a fantastic evening. Thank you to all of our Sheroes that are here tonight.
Thank you so much. Join me in thanking our amazing co-hosts, Alicia Menendez and Richard Louie. Thank you so much for this amazing job. I also want to thank my co-producer, Hannah Kim, who's just been amazing and such an inspiration. Also, thank you to our production team, the two Black Bruins, our public relations manager, Marcine Charles, and our scriptwriter, Emma with Green Gigs. Finally, I also want to thank our amazing honorees and so much for that just inspiring conversation. It was, such great tidbits that we can all use and share. Again, our honorees, Ms. Julie Burton, who's the executive director of the Women's Media Center, Ms. Heather Cohen, who's the board chair of Alliance for Women in Media and Foundation, Ms. Francine Compton, who's the president of the Native American Journalists Association, Michelle Lee, who's the chair of the Asian American Journalists Association, Ms. Nora Lopez, who's the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, Ms. Letha Matthews, who's the president of the National Press Club, and Ms. Dorothy Tucker, president of the National Association of Black Journalists, NABJ. I know I can't make you guys do it, but join me in a virtual applause for these outstanding, outstanding honorees. Finally, I want to take a moment out to highlight our partners who made this possible. This is an incredible undertaking, but we could not have done it without our amazing sponsors. So let me highlight them again. The Nail Foundation, the News Media Alliance, Bloomberg Government, and Microsoft. We appreciate your partnership and your commitment to media diversity. With that, we are come to the end of our show. We want to thank you. We ask that you would continue to support MMCA and check us out on our website at www.mmcadc.org. Good night and thank you.